Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry it has been so long since I recorded a video on here. I have just been crazy busy. I've started university, I've come back from Chile where I was in my previous videos, and yeah, but it's 2017 now and I really want to start making videos at least once a month, so hopefully you will start seeing more and more content on this channel. So to kick the year off, it is probably my favourite video to film. Every year it comes around and I get excited to film this video and kind of collate my list of favourite musical moments of the year. So this is going to be my top 10 albums of 2016. So at number 10, it's M.I.A, hip-hop, rappy, alternative style singer. You probably know her mostly from songs like Bad Girls, Paper Planes, songs like that. This is her most recent album, AIM. This album came out back in September and it really did not disappoint. It is classic M.I.A, it is politically charged, it has really kind of different sounding production. I love her production styles, I love her lyrics, her melodies even. You don't tend to expect M.I.A to have kind of catchy melodies. This record, quite a lot of the tracks are actually catchy. There's the lead single which came out last year, Borders, the other single Freedom, which she did with Zayn from One Direction, which when she was announced I was like, how is this collaboration ever going to work? I could not imagine it. But it's actually one of my favourite tracks on the record. Others include Survivor, again really good, the new international sound. M.I.A is always pushing this kind of new sound that no one else is doing, and I really love it. So I had to put AIM at number 10 on my top 10 albums. At number 9, this album came out in August and it was a long time coming. This is probably the most highly anticipated album of this year when it comes to critics. This is Frank Ocean and his album Blonde. Now, his debut record, Channel Orange, got such huge critical acclaim, and I was very interested in Frank Ocean. I obviously listened to Channel Orange, but I never kind of fell in love with his music. When Blonde came out, I was very pleasantly surprised. I really love this record, more so than I did with Channel Orange. There are tracks on here which I actually adore. I think Frank Ocean is a really great artist. I really respect him. I really love his He's quite an enigma, his persona. He doesn't do very many interviews. He only releases an album every 4 or 5 years. Keeps himself to himself, but every time he does release music, it's done in a really kind of organic, really nice way. And honestly, on the whole of Blonde, there isn't one song that I would skip. I really love this whole album as a piece of work. Every song on here is really beautiful sounding, I think, even though it is kind of hip-hop music. I really like the style of his songs, especially songs like Ivy and Pink and White and Skyline 2, which I just think are really kind of innocent sounding, but then have quite dark and quite lyrics that you want to look into, because he's quite an enigmatic kind of character. So yeah, at number 9, I put Blonde by Frank Ocean. At number 8, an album which I have spoken about on my channel previously, this is by, again, another hip-hop kind of alternative styly girl. This is Santi Gold and her album 99 Cents. I honestly could not label this album with a genre. I don't know what kind of music this is. There's a lot of, yeah, there's hip-hop influence, but a lot of it is very poppy, alternative, kind of throwback feeling. Songs like Rendezvous Girl and even Can't Get Enough of Myself, they have like a throwback vibe. I don't know kind of from what era, but they definitely feel kind of old school sounding, and I really like that. I like that, again, she's another artist who is doing something different but still making poppy songs, because ultimately pop music's my favourite kind of music, and a song that I can sing along to and a song that's catchy is really kind of my cup of tea. Santi Gold and her album 99 Cents had to make an appearance at number 8. Number 7 is another one of my favourite artists. This is The Weeknd and his most recent album, Starboy. Big album, big release of this year. When he announced the album, I was very excited, but I was kind of like, hold on a minute, is he becoming one of these artists that really kind of jumps on his success and just is going to start churning out music? Because it was only last year, 2015, that he released Beauty Behind the Madness. When he announced a new album, I was like, hold on, how have you made another album as good as Beauty Behind the Madness? I need you to take a while making these songs and make them great. However, he has done that in the space of a year, I love Starboy. I absolutely love the album. I don't know if I love it as much as Beauty Behind the Madness. I think I need a bit longer to kind of listen to them both and listen to Starboy more. But I really, really like this record. The title track obviously is amazing. Songs like Party Monster, I love. Rocking, I love. One of my favourites is Secrets. I love the interlude Stargirl with Lana. I love her kind of vocal appearances on songs like False Alarm at the end. Party Monster. He's really kind of the only male mainstream artist that I really, really like, because I feel like he's the only mainstream guy who is making music which is not generic. Nothing about Starboy is generic, even the title track, which is #1 on Billboard. Songs like I Feel It Coming just completely throw me back and remind me of Michael Jackson, which is not a bad thing at all. I really love The Weeknd style, and I had to put Starboy at #7 because it is one of my favourite albums of the year. At #6, a guy who you either love or you hate, but I happen to love. This is Kanye West's album, The Life of Pablo. I loved Jesus, I loved Dark Fantasy album, and 808's Heartbreak, Graduation. Honestly, his whole discography is really, really, really good. Whether or not you like his personality or you don't, his music is good, and it's very different and interesting. He never disappoints when it comes to his production, especially. The opening track is arguably the best song on the album. Ultralight Beam brings together so many different styles, as does the whole of the album, but the first track, Ultralight Beam, really kind of demonstrates Kanye's ability as not only a producer but an artist, rapper and vocal singer. Songs like Wolves featuring Sia, again another highlight, Famous, which you all know, featuring Rihanna. The whole of The Life of Pablo is a really, really great album. I really like Kanye West. I think he's a very, very, very skilled musician and honestly my favourite rapper. So yeah, The Life of Pablo had to make an appearance at #6. Okay, now into the top 5. At #5 we have Sia and her album This Is Acting. I love Sia, and you will all know that I love Sia. She is one of the greatest pop writers, has to be, of all time. She has written some incredible songs, and This Is Acting is a kind of collection of reject songs. Every song on this album was written for someone else, whether it be Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy Perry, Demi Lovato, one of these kind of big female pop stars. These songs were written for one of them. I really like this album as a whole. Highlights for me are kind of the darker side to this record. Sia can write a really fun pop song. You can see that on Cheap Thrills, Sweet Design, Move Your Body. She can write fun music. However, I like it when she kind of sings about slightly darker topics. I love the track Reaper. I like Bird Set Free and its kind of melancholy melody. Unstoppable is a really kind of powerful track, but again, that melody, although extremely catchy, has got quite a somber feel to it. And possibly my favourite on here just because of its melody. She is brilliant at writing a pop melody. House on Fire is probably my favourite track on here. So yeah, This Is Acting had to make an appearance. I love this album and it's at #5. #4 is my favourite debut artiste or debut album of the year. This is by the artist M.I.A, and this is her album For All We Know. I love this album, and at times it was higher up in the ranking, but it's now at #4. I really, really, really love Nao as an artist. I'm not sure if you will have heard of her. You spell it Nao, literally Nao. And this album, For All We Know, was very, very highly anticipated for me. I had loved the singles Bad Blood, especially Girlfriend, Fool to Love, and the songs which he'd previously released, like Inhale, Exhale, songs like that I'd absolutely loved. So when the full album came out, I think it was in July, I couldn't wait to listen to it. She is such a sweet girl. I really love her. I saw her tour a few months ago. She did a small show in Brighton and I saw it and she was just amazing. Her production is so good and she does a lot of it. She starts a lot of it with the demos by herself, but I also love when she kind of slows it down. The track Blue Wine is quite an eerie, slow, down-tempo song, and it's just got so much vibe to it. Like, I love vibe in artists. That's why I love Lana so much, because she creates this big kind of epic sound, and on the track Blue Wine, Neo really does that. Again, like I said with Santigold, I couldn't begin to kind of put this album into a box when it comes to genre. There's like funk, soul, hip-hop, pop, alternative kind of acoustic sounds on here. There's everything. I just love it, and it all kind of comes together with Neo's vocal. Again, her lyrics are really good. There's nothing about this album which lets it down. I absolutely love it, and definitely an artist to check out and to watch for 2017. Neo, For All We Know, at number 4. The top 3 time, and now these ones, I know I say it every year, but these top 3 were very hard to put into a ranking order, and I'm still not even sure of it now. But for the purpose of this video, at number 3, this is Rihanna and Auntie. Now, for those of you who saw my review of this album back in March, I think, the album came out in January, but as always, I was quite slow off the mark to film. But I did review this album on my channel, and it wasn't a very positive review, I have to say. On first listen, Auntie was quite disappointing. It just didn't deliver that kind of pop album like the album Loud did, even Talk That Talk did. For me, there was just something missing, and that something was big pop smash songs. However, I totally regret everything I said in that video and believe that this is Rihanna's best album. I think it's her most profound album, her most educated, intelligent music is on Auntie, and I love it. The opening track, Consideration, which features SZA, is brilliant, probably my favourite track on there. But even like the track 2, James Joint, which is a short interlude and doesn't really go anywhere, and when I first listened to the album I was like, what is the point in this? I love it. I really love it now. Songs like Kiss It Better as well, which was one of the singles. It's not a single material kind of track. It's not really radio friendly, but it's great. It's catchy. And the production, which is probably the thing that matters most to me on an album. I love good production and something that no one else is doing, and that's definitely here on Auntie. Obviously, lead single Work is arguably the song of 2016. You couldn't really go anywhere without hearing that song. Annoyingly catchy to the point where you're like, I cannot stop singing this song. On Auntie, there's something edgy but very authentic about the tracks on here. I really love this album. There's a track called Close to You, which is like a heartfelt ballad, which is just gorgeous sounding. But then that's juxtaposed with songs like Sex With Me and Pose. You also have songs like Desperado and Needed Me, which are more kind of underground sounding. Honestly, so many different sounds, so many different inspirations when it comes to genre on this record, and I think it's just an incredible body of work. So that's Auntie at number 3. Number 2, and probably the biggest release of the year that is featured on this ranking, is Beyonce Lemonade. Now, I could talk forever about this album because I really love it so much. This album came out back in April, and as soon as it came out, I was just in love. This is how it differed with Auntie, and probably why I put it that step up at number 2, just because from the minute it came out and now, I absolutely adore Lemonade so much. Beyonce's self-titled album, which came out back in 2013, is one of my all-time favourite records. Still my favourite album from Beyonce, but Lemonade came extremely close, and honestly, it's arguably more groundbreaking and more genre pushing and more outside the box when it comes to a female pop R&B star. Probably the biggest female artist on the planet. This year delivered an album that no one was really expecting. Formation is my number 1 single of the year. You can check out my blog post, which I will leave below, on my top 20 singles of the year. But Formation, which was the kind of lead single to this album campaign, is my favourite song of the year, just because of how brilliant it is, not only lyrically but production wise. Its video, this whole album came with a movie, and was labelled as a visual album in the same way as her previous release was. The whole Lemonade movie, if you sit down and listen to it and dedicate an hour to it, it's just a masterpiece, and it's like nothing else any other artist is doing right now. No other female artist is creating visual content which mirrors the music in such an amazing way as Beyonce is. She honestly is doing something that no other artist is doing right now. And Lemonade is brilliant, not only musically, but visually. And even when it comes down to its bare bones and its concepts behind the songs like Freedom, which has such an important message to it, and Formation as well. But this whole narrative that is the kind of backbone of Lemonade is genius, whether it's fiction or truthful non-fiction writing about her, and whether it be Jay-Z or some other man in her life, whatever it is, it's brilliant, and it's got the whole world at its fingertips. Everyone wants to know if this is true or not, and I think it's genius. I think that Beyonce is, although extremely highly rated, and although probably going to win all the Grammys at the ceremony next month, I think it's in February, I think is so deserving. She's so deserving of it because she really is an incredible artist, and Lemonade proves that she is one of the greatest artists of all time. And finally, we come to the #1 spot. Like I said, it was extremely hard to do this, especially these top 3 albums, but this album is by my favourite artist of all time. Not only do I love her music, but I love what she has done to me and what she continues to do when it comes to inspiring me in my life. This is Lady Gaga and her album Joanne. It's been a good 3 years since her last release, Art Pop, came out, and that was my favourite album of that year. I love Gaga. Everyone knows that I love Gaga. So when Joanne finally came, I was so excited to listen to the album. When I got the full 14-track deluxe edition and I actually got to sit down and listen to the music, I fell in love with it, and from the minute I listened to it start to finish, I absolutely loved it and still do. The title track, Joanne, is absolutely gorgeous. It's a heartfelt ballad in commemoration of Gaga's late aunt, which this whole album is dedicated to. Again, songs like Angel Down are another kind of more ballad-esque songs. Again, very politically relevant today. Opening track, Diamond Heart, is probably my favourite track on the album. Its lyrics are, I think, the best on the album, some of Gaga's best throughout her whole career. I think Joanne is different from the rest of Gaga's music, not only because it's a different style and it's very much more stripped back and authentic, for want of a better term, but it's very different because everything is completely autobiographical. As a big fan, I can tell that songs on the Fame Monster and even on the Fame are very autobiographical, but for the rest of the world, they didn't realise that songs like Monster and Bad Romance and Judas were autobiographical when it came to Gaga's life. People can't tell when big songs like that really mean something. Joanne separates itself because she's laid her cards out on the table with this album. Every song links to her life in some way or another, and is very deep and meaningful and heartfelt. Favourites are Diamond Heart, and now Perfect Illusion. I absolutely love Million Reasons as well. AO, Dancing in Circles, has to be a single. Honestly, I love this whole record. Like I said, the top 3, Rihanna Auntie, Beyonce Lemonade, and this Gaga's Joanne record, they've been the top 3 albums of my year. It's very hard for me to put them in a ranking order, but I had to give Gaga, my favourite girl, the #1 spot with Joanne. So there you have it. That is the end of my top 10 albums of the year video. You can check out my blog post, which I will leave below, which kind of goes more in detail, and I talk a bit more about why each album is where it is on the ranking. Also, my top 20 singles of 2016 is also up on my blog, which I shall leave below. Hopefully I will see you very soon. As I said, I'm hoping to make a video once a month at least. So yeah, I will see you back on this channel very soon. Check out my previous videos and let me know what you think. See you soon. Goodbye.